What up? What happens in Vegas, listeners? Before we get into the show, I just want to send out positive vibes, prayers to Damar Hamlin, who collapsed on the field, practically died, and is in the hospital right now, fighting for his life. If you haven't donated to his GoFundMe, it's his foundation. It'd be great if you could do that. I held off on the show for a couple of days just to, show respect, sending positive vibes in our thoughts. Again, Damar Hamlin, show support however you can, whether it's just to share the story of his. The GoFundMe will be a lot of help for him. His foundation is just blown up, and that's beautiful to see from the fans. So if you supported that, thank you for that. Again, our thoughts, our positive vibes, everything is out to Damar Hamlin. What up, what up, what up, everybody? I appreciate you guys for joining me as always, Raider Nation. I am your host, Neal Maligno. This is what happens in Vegas, and we are talking about the Raiders post Derek Carr, the Raiders following the 49ers game. There is a lot of drama, a lot of rumors, a lot of controversy, just a lot to digest. This team is in the mix of a lot of different things happening. There is a lot of different things in the sauce right now. And so I want to kind of help break this down a little bit. There's a lot going on too on social media and on YouTube and on podcasts and on everything. The Derek Carr drama is real. The Jarrett Stidham hype is real. Davante Adams, Josh Jacobs, Josh McDaniels. There's so much going on. Let's start first. Let's just recap first the Raiders game against the 49ers. We'll do this quickly. Jarrett Stidham came in for Derek Carr. Obviously, he was benched. He was told not to come to the organization. Don't come in the building. Don't come anywhere. Don't come on the field. Don't come nowhere near this team. Now, we kind of hear mixed reports on whether this was all a Derek Carr situation or just a team situation, or if both made this decision. Clearly, Derek Carr is very upset, very bitter, very upset at how this has transpired for him and the Raiders. But that aside, the Raiders had a football game to play. Jarrett Stidham stepped in at quarterback, the guy that Josh McDaniels said, we want to see what Jarrett Stidham's about. And everybody, a lot of people on social media, as soon as this happened, said, oh, Derek Carr is going to go somewhere. He's going to be the piece needed for someone to win a Super Bowl. We already know what Jarrett Stidham is. This is such a joke that Josh McDaniels would say that. At least be honest. At least say it's just about the money. Well, I didn't see any of those people apologize, take back their comments, or say that they were wrong. I even put the tweet out there. This is your opportunity to say sorry. This is your opportunity to say you were wrong. You were wrong. You wouldn't say it. That's fine. Jarrett Stidham came in the game. I think he played above anybody's expectations, right? Like a lot of people said, they thought he sucked. They thought he wasn't that great. That he was just a career backup. He came in this game and played a lot better than a career backup. I'll tell you that much right now. He came in and had the best game of the season at quarterback for the Raiders this year. I'll just put it that way, flat out. 365 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Both interceptions were off of weird plays. One, a ball was like tapped out of the air by the defense and they got it. The other one was an interception where as an offensive lineman got drove, he hit into him as he was throwing the ball and he got picked off as well. So neither one was like a Jarrett, Stidham 100% bad decision. The last throw, you could say, would Davante Adams have caught it? Who knows? But at the end of the day, neither one was like an oblivious, like, what the hell did you just do type of thing. So Jarrett Stidham played really well. Josh Jacobs did well for the opportunities that he got. He had almost 70 yards and a touchdown. He also had some receiving yards, almost 30 yards receiving. Davante Adams went crazy, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns. Darren Waller had a great game on only 3 receptions, over 70 yards and a touchdown. Foster Moreau, Matt Collins, everybody got in the mix. Hunter ran for a slight little bit. Nothing on defense at all besides N'Keal Robertson interception, which was a great interception. But other than that, no sacks, giving them all kinds of points. And in reality, the reason why, this team lost this game, this, again, going against a great team in the 49ers, a playoff team, one of the best teams in football, one of the best defenses in football. So this makes it, a really interesting thing. So after that game happens and you're seeing all these things for Jarrett Stidham, it really was the best outcome you could expect for the Raiders in terms of, if Jarrett Stidham would have came in the game and the Raiders just fell flat on their face, like there was no touchdowns or he looked like Derek Carr, these kind of things would have been bad for the Raiders, in a whole, and something you really don't want to see in the way this, the way the season has played out. The last thing you would have wanted was for them to come out and just fall flat on their face against the 49ers. This was best case scenario for the organization, for Josh McDaniels, for Stidham in itself. He outperformed Derek Carr. And we can just talk about the numbers really quick. Stidham, I just mentioned a second ago, had 365 passing yards. All season long, Derek Carr never threw for 365 passing yards. Jarrett Stidham had 3 touchdowns. Derek Carr had 1 game this season with 3 touchdowns. 1 game. 1 damn game. Derek Carr's had 14 interceptions this year, and I wouldn't put all of them on him, but started twice this year. 2 games. And then completion percentage, 67.65 for Stidham. Derek Carr did that or better, I believe, twice all year. 1 game against the number 1 defense in the NFL, and Stidham outplayed him in every category you can ask. Not to mention, he just looked better. The offense just looked better. He wasn't getting sacked a bunch of times. He wasn't holding the ball long. He was able to run around and extend plays, which clearly mattered. It wasn't just, oh, Stidham ran the ball a little bit. He extended plays and turned them into touchdowns off those, running out of the pocket plays. He did a bunch of stuff, gave opportunities to guys where he just basically threw the ball up and gave Davante Adams a chance to go for it. He just threw the ball up and gave Darren Waller a chance to go for it. They weren't like obvious plays sometimes. Sometimes he literally just threw the ball up, gave it the best chance possible, and the player came down with it. The end zone play with Davante Adams, just perfection. I highly suggest you go check out JT O'Sullivan's QB School on YouTube. He broke down Carr in the Steelers game. He also breaks down a whole bunch of other quarterbacks. But the last episode he broke down Jarrett Stidham's game against the 49ers. I really like the way he breaks these quarterback games down. He really breaks down what the defense is trying to do, what the offense is trying to do, whether the quarterback made good decisions, bad decisions, special plays, really dumb plays. He breaks it down really well, and I highly suggest you go check that out because you'll see some of the things that I'm talking about. If you watch the game, you know what I'm talking about, but JT helps you kind of, break it down on an individual play basis. So here's the thing. When I say that Jarrett Stidham played well, when I talk about it on Twitter, when I talk about it on TikTok, when I talk about these things, a lot of fans will come. A lot of the Carr apologists, a lot of people who love Derek Carr and feel bad for Derek Carr and, oh, poor Derek Carr, they tell you, well, Stidham's been in this offense for 3 or 4 seasons now, Neal. That's not fair to compare to Derek Carr. My response to that is Stidham has never started an NFL game in his life. This is the first game he's ever started in his life. Derek Carr played 9 seasons as starting for quarterback. He's played an entire season for Josh McDaniels. The stats only got worse. He wasn't improving along this season. It's not like, well, he started off slow and now Derek Carr started playing better towards the end of the season. He definitely deserves another shot. He literally got worse as the season went along. He did not get better. And I'm talking about from a statistical standpoint, from an emotional standpoint, from, they had him up there crying. He was just going through it emotionally. Just in general, Derek Carr has had a rough season. And there's nothing in it that made you feel like, oh, he's the quarterback for this system. Oh, he's flashed. Like he really could pick the system up and run with it. Nothing showed you that. Jarrett Stidham did it in 1 game. He did it in 1 game, but we want Derek Carr to do all season long. And I know you can say Carr played good without McDaniels, and then when McDaniels came, he played bad, so it's McDaniels' fault. Wrong. Carr can't play in McDaniels' system, so he has to go. That just is what it is. Mark Davis already said we're not firing Josh McDaniels. We're not giving up on this staff that I just hired that I felt like I struck gold with. I struck gold. I got this great staff that I want. They know the Patriots way. They know the championship way. They know all this good stuff. He's grown. He's matured since his last opportunity in this, in this gig, in this role. And I really feel good about it. So if you feel that way, that you're not going to move on from Josh McDaniels, what exactly would you like to happen? Would you like them to keep trying to fit the round peg into the square hole? Would you like them to do that? Would you like them to ignorantly just keep playing Derek Carr, even though he's not going to get better, even though he's clearly struggling in the system? Carr can't play in McDaniel's system. It is what it is. We don't have time to wait for him to improve and grow. He's going to be in year 10 next season. If you can have a quarterback like Stidham, or you could draft a quarterback who fits this role better, or you can sign a vet free agent who knows this system, you don't have time to wait. The way Jarrett Stidham looked is how you wanted Derek Carr to look all season, how you wanted him to look by the halfway point, how you wanted him to look towards the last games of the season. It never happened. It never happened. It is what it is. The Raiders are getting bashed by, Derek Carr fans, by some NFL fans, that they didn't handle this correctly. They gave Derek Carr a prove-it contract. If he would have flourished in the system, he'd still be here. He'd still be the Las Vegas Raiders starting quarterback. He didn't. He clearly didn't. Can we all agree that he clearly didn't? I don't care about your excuses why. He clearly did not flourish in the system, right? He had a prove-it contract. He didn't prove it. So we see what happened, right? The business decision was made. That's a whole lot better than Josh in my opinion. It's a whole lot better than Josh McDaniels coming in immediately as the new head coach and going, I don't like Derek Carr. I don't think he fits my system. I don't think he can get it done. Trade him. Now, can you imagine how the fan base would have reacted when a quarterback who's been with the team for 8 seasons, 9 seasons, has done, ups and downs, never won a Super Bowl, but has gotten us to the playoffs, and he's had all kinds of stuff that he's dealt with this organization. It's not all his fault. He owns records. Can you imagine if Josh McDaniels would have came in and just straight out traded him or not re-signed him, whatever the case is? Can you imagine? Now, then you would have a valid point. Then you would have a valid point to be upset because, if he didn't give him a chance, he didn't get him the prove it contract and just immediately sent him off to another team, I would agree with you guys. Hey, kind of dirty. Definitely dirty. Not kind of. It would have been dirty. Instead, he had a prove it contract, which, I'm sorry. He signed the deal. This is not a, surprise. Like Derek Carr, him, his agent, lawyers, they all signed the deal. A contract is what it is. He thought that he was going to prove it. He thought that he was going to flourish in the system. He didn't. That's how this works. You didn't, Derek. And even his brother was so exciting. A perfect match. Mark Davis really did a good job on this one. And now that you didn't prove what you were out to prove, which is not your fault, it just is what it is. Now you're mad. Now you're bitter. Now it's, F the Raiders. Come on, man. Stop that shit. He was benched to protect the team, to protect the business. It had to happen. Now, understand that I'm a Derek Carr fan. I've always supported Derek Carr. I've had him in fantasy leagues. I've argued with people forever. I say he's a top 15 quarterback. He could be top 12. Who knows? I love Derek Carr. He loves the organization. He gives his all for the organization. And he did. He went through all kinds of coaches, all kinds of players, trauma, down seasons, decent seasons, good seasons. He went through it all and he stuck it out. I respect that. I respect it as a man. So I respected Derek Carr. I like Derek Carr. I pulled for Derek Carr. Whenever someone is a Raider, I'm always going to root for you. It is what it is. That's always what I'm going to do. That's always going to be my stance. But for him to have these opportunities, right? For him to be on this team for 9 seasons, for the team to go through all those different head coaches, for the team to go through all these different players, all these different losing seasons, and they never gave up on him either. This goes both ways. They felt like he was good for the organization and good for the team. And he felt the same way. He wanted to be here. It was mutual. So for, him and his brother to kind of do this whining and complaining, I don't know, man. I think for sure when you see the way they reacted, if he would have stayed around, he was a distraction. If he would have stayed around the organization during this last couple of games, he would have been a distraction. If this is the way he acts now, after everything they did, after everything this team has did, understand, again, I think them being emotional is a joke. I get him being hurt. I get him being disappointed, but being like so bitter where you go and unfollow the organization, you got your brother on TV blasting him. You got your brother saying he's going to go on a podcast and tell the truth and the whole story. Like, you didn't say none of this when you were there, though. I hate that. I hate that, like, ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend thing where you talk shit after the relationship. You didn't say any of this when you were there, though. Like, come on, man. So Derek and his brother, they're emotional. They're complaining. They're doing all these things. I look at it this way. He had 9 seasons on one team. He got super wealthy. His family is set for life financially. He owns a bunch of Raider records, and we appreciate him for those. He had a good standing with Raider fans. Like, for the most part, yeah, there were some Raider fans who just didn't like him because they never won, and they try to find somebody to blame it on, which he was partially responsible, but they kind of put it all on him. So I understand those. You can't really count those fans. It is what it is. They're in every organization. There's fans that are like that about the quarterback. But in general, most fans appreciated what he did. Most fans appreciated that he laid it on the line for the Raiders. Most fans appreciate that he owns a bunch of records and all these things because he was a good quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in Raiders history. He's still healthy. So he can go to another team, prove the Raiders wrong. I don't know what else you can ask for. You have records to show how good you were. You have the fans' love and appreciation. You had 9 seasons of opportunity to prove that, you could put this team on your back, do everything. It doesn't matter. You have to deal with what's there. You're leaving with your health intact. It's not like they got you beat up and kicked you out. You made crazy money. What else is there to complain about? Like, why are we feeling bad? This is life. What other QB gets this many chances with a team? Most QBs just get blamed. Oh, you had 2-3 seasons. We're done. You're a bust. Ignoring all the other stuff, right? The Raiders never did that. The Raiders kept him and just kept him and kept him and kept him. So miss me with I feel bad for Derek Carr. I don't like how he was treated, this and that. I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you. And the way they're acting afterwards, Derek, David, I don't appreciate it at all. I'm not a fan of it. I think it's weak. I think it looks lame. And I would have much rather him held his head high and said, hey, I mean, I gave everything I could. I did everything I could. I understand that the team has decided to make a business decision. I look forward to, moving on my career, seeing what else I could do somewhere else. I wish them nothing but the best. You haven't even spoke, bro. You haven't even spoke out in support of this team to the fans. That's crazy. So I fully expect the Raiders to sign a veteran quarterback in the offseason. I fully expect them to draft a quarterback early in the draft. No matter how confident they are in Stidham, I still believe the Raiders have to draft a quarterback. And I still believe you bring in a vet. Now, you got the whole situation is, are they going to bring in Tom Brady? Like, if I had to choose, honestly, with the way Stidham played, if he could do that again against the Chiefs and we have this confidence going forward that he can continue to replicate that in some, at some high level, I don't really need 46-year-old Tom Brady. I get if the team feels that's the best move to make and then give Stidham some more time, but really Stidham shouldn't need any more time. If you feel like he's the guy, if you feel like he can keep doing what he did, or you draft a quarterback super early, you let Stidham and him compete. You bring in Tom Brady. I don't know. I think if it's a little weird, I don't want like Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't want that kind of stuff. I'd rather just roll with Stidham. I'd rather just roll with Stidham at that point. But I do want them to draft a quarterback early. I think there's no excuse to not. I think if you don't draft a quarterback early, even if you have Stidham and you love him and he's your starter going into the season, I still think you draft a quarterback early too. You still draft a quarterback early because they are valuable assets. You have an early pick. You're good at developing quarterbacks. You do it. My opinion. Just my opinion. We'll obviously see what happens. Now, I did see this article. The Athletic put it out, I believe, and it was Davante Adams, and he said that they asked him about the team, how he feels, because a lot of people love to go, Davante Adams is going to leave, Neal. Now that his buddy Derek Carr is not there, he's going to leave. You're going to lose Davante Adams. Wrong again. Wrong again. Me, Coach Josh McDaniels, and General Manager Dave Ziegler, we've got a really good dynamic, and it's something that I really appreciate, Adams said via The Athletic. I've mentioned it to them as well. Obviously, they don't have to do anything. I'm not part of the front office, but obviously the reason why I came here, a step like this is obviously something that means a lot to me in my personal career. And obviously what I'm trying to chase as far as the ultimate pursuit to get that ring. I'm not a guy that's just going to come in here just saying anything. Adams continued. They know whether it's about the scheme or if it's about personnel, whatever it is, there's a rhyme to the reason. I'm definitely going to have something behind whatever it is that I'm thinking or saying. We've obviously got a good understanding for one another, and that helps with this whole process. They asked him if he's going to leave if they trade away Derek Carr. It doesn't necessarily mean that I won't be here in the event that he's not here, Adams said. That's my boy. Obviously, I've got his back through anything. I think I've made that more than clear at this point. And I support him and I support everything that he has moving forward as well. But my dream was to play for this team before he was a Raider. Obviously. What was that about Davante Adams leaving? Sorry, can you guys speak up? Well, where's Davante Adams going? Because Derek Carr. What? My dream was to play for this team before he was a Raider. Okay? So I like this. I like that Davante Adams is coming out. He's not hiding. He's not letting his brother speak for him. He's coming out saying, listen, I want my input on this. I want my input on the quarterback. I want my input on, what we do out here on the offense. I want my input put on everything. I came here. I'm a big name player. I'm one of the best players or the best player on this football team. Pretty much best player. I'm the best player on this football team. Paid me a lot of money. Obviously, my boy got me here. He helped get me here in terms of working out the deal, doing all that kind of stuff. But I want to be a Raider. This is my passion, my love, where I wanted to be. This was my dream. And the organization's like, for sure. So I love that this dynamic is happening. I love that he's speaking out about it. I love that he's being vocal. I love that he came and supported Jarrett Stidham. He said a lot of great things about Jarrett Stidham. Awesome stuff that he said about him. After the game, Jarrett Stidham kind of took responsibility for it like a leader. And the team basically said, no, man, it's not your fault. You were balling out there. And they all said it. Davante Adams said it. Josh Jacobs said it. All the players said it on the record that it was not Jarrett Stidham's fault. He balled out. Darren Waller said they expected this guy. They seen this guy putting in the work all season. He was helping players all season. Davante Adams had that little LeBron James thing going. Other people might not have believed it, but I knew it. After the fact, it sounded good, right? This is the kind of stuff that, gives me a lot of hope, honestly. There's plenty of off-season decisions that have to be made and that will be made. And the defense needs a major overhaul because that loss to the 49ers solely fell on the defense. The O-line needs help. They need to lock in Jacobs. And Josh Jacobs sounds like he wants to come back. I don't know if the team will pull anything crazy, but they sound like they want him back. Josh McDaniel constantly speaks of Josh Jacobs. I don't think he has more love or positive comments for any player more than Josh Jacobs. They need cap space to do all that. They got to sign rookies from the draft. So they have to, and on the draft, they have to hit, man. They have to hit on all of it. They can't just hit on their first round pick. Can't just hit on some late round picks. You need to hit across the board. So the Raiders have a lot of work to do. But the major thing to come away from this with is remember that football is a business. It's a game we all enjoy watching. It's a game that they're blessed and they enjoy playing. But at the end of the day, football, the NFL, is a business. You sign contracts, you make lots of money, you risk a lot of things, and it's just the way it goes. Derek Carr did not get a bad hand. Derek Carr was not mistreated. Derek Carr is in business. And this is how business works. And I look forward to seeing what Derek Carr does on the next team he goes to. I honestly do. I wish him luck. I'm going to follow him. I'm going to root for him. I wish him nothing but success. But I'm not here for the bitter, spoiled act, by him or especially his brother, who, if this was me in my situation, I would never want my brother out there. He could defend me. He could be upset. He could be not happy. I'm like, yo, chill on the bitter stuff, though. You can say that you feel like maybe I didn't get the perfect shake out here, but don't be out here acting like blasting the team coach, the owner, all this kind of stuff. Like, why are you doing that? I don't think that's cool. I'm never going to be cool with that. No one man is bigger than the program. I'm never going to be out here rolling people under the bus that I was playing with and said I wouldn't want to play nowhere else. If they didn't re-sign me, I would retire. I only want to be a Raider. And then as soon as you don't perform up to what they need for you to win a championship, and as soon as you don't prove what you needed to prove for your contract to be, fulfilled because you just didn't meet the requirements, the needs of the team, all of a sudden you hate the Raiders. All of a sudden the coaches and the relationship with the owner is terrible, and you're this game-winning quarterback, fourth quarter comeback kid. What is happening? Do not let your brother be out there speaking for you if you don't agree with that. If that is not your motto, and you just got all love for the Raiders and all love for the fans and supporting the team even into your next journey, don't let your brother do that. But because he's doing it and you haven't spoken a word, I'm going to assume he's speaking for you. They're a pretty tight-knit family. I highly doubt David Carr is out here slandering the Raiders and Derek Carr's, not catching it. Had nothing to do with it. Come on. Come on. I wish Derek Carr nothing but, success. Love the dude. Love everything he did for the Raiders. I'm not ungrateful about it. I appreciate it. He made things way better than they were before he showed up in terms of the quarterbacks that we went through for years. It was abysmal. So no matter whether Derek Carr got us the championship, whether Derek Carr could have been better, he did crazy things compared to everything we had prior. He's the best Raiders quarterback of my generation while I watched. That's how I look at it. Certainly other ones have gotten us further, but since the most recent decade, for me, Derek Carr is the best quarterback that the Raiders have had. The records reflect it. The win-loss records don't, but you can't put that totally on Derek Carr. It just is what it is. I'm not, and again, don't come away from this thinking I'm blaming Derek Carr for everything. Clearly, it's not all his fault. Just like he has to accept responsibility that some of it is his fault, especially this season. Again, shout out to Derek Carr. Shout out to what he does in the future. I hope he ends up in a great place and he flourishes. But Jarrett Stidham, whoever the quarterback is for the Raiders, I hope we get to play him. It's going to be a beautiful thing. I can't imagine how the NFL wouldn't get that on the schedule. I look forward to seeing that. Raider fans, I want to know in the comments, do you think Jarrett Stidham is the future quarterback for the Raiders, or do you think it's going to be a draft pick or Tom Brady? Who do you think will be the future quarterback of Raiders? Put it in the comments below. Of course, don't forget to hit subscribe if this is your first time watching. I appreciate you sitting through with me, chopping it up about the Raiders, the Derek Carr saga, the Jarrett Stidham era possibly that's about to begin. All this kind of stuff is a lot of fun. As a Raider fan, you got to be kind of excited about it. I'm excited. I think it kind of rejuvenated me a little bit. I guess it's like getting a new haircut or something. You just feel good about, the prospects for the day. So I feel good about it. I'm excited about it. We'll keep dropping episodes here with a lot of fun stuff, even into the off season. This show will be weekly. It's not going to stop. We'll continue to drop stuff. So if you want content all off season long, pure, real, no BS, just realness, and I communicate with you guys. I chop it up in the comments. TikTok, it goes crazy on TikTok. The Raider fans show mad love on TikTok, but the haters are in full effect. So I could use a little backup over there. Instagram has been really cool too. And then Twitter, of course, at the bottom here, you see all of the handles. Clock Dodgers on Twitter, What Happens in Vegas Pod on Instagram and TikTok. Please hit subscribe, turn on your notifications, like, comment, do all those great things. If you follow me on any of the social platforms, just let me know. Hey, I listen to the show or I watch the show, and I'll follow you back. It's just hard to, know who's just randomly following or who's an actual watcher and supporter of the show. Also, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or you're watching on Spotify, shout out to you as well. I appreciate you. Please leave a 5-star review there if you haven't already. It really helps, helps new listeners, new Raider fans know that this is a quality show. We keep it real over here for the Raider Nation. And again, if you're on YouTube, please hit subscribe, comment. Let's chop it up there. Other than that, guys, I have nothing else for you today. Again, I want to chop it up with you guys in the comments. I'm interested in what you think. Who do you think will be the future quarterback of the Raiders week 1 next season? I want to see it in the comments. That is it for today, guys. What happens in Vegas is Raiders football.